Okay, hello guys. I am so excited to say that we are back with another episode of Silo, episode 5, a good one in my opinion, a very good one. And today, I'm going to be breaking down every detail and I guess sort of explaining it. I know there's YouTube channels out there. I think they explain TV shows like this episode explained or something. I prefer to just break down the little things, find the details, and then sort of explain the episode if I think it needs explaining. And then I don't know. We should get into this. Okay, so obviously we begin the episode with Marnes' death and a very confusing death because last episode, I mean, I really didn't think he was gonna die because he could have been killed so easily last episode, but he I don't know he died, and it was not from a shotgun shot. It was from being head trauma from a shotgun. So we know that this was because of Doug. We now know his name, Doug. This guy. Okay, so that happened, but then before that, there was the file. There wasn't much. I expected more, but there was obviously the thing about the watch. He says he doesn't have anyone else. This show has already represented metaphors with Bernard when he offers a drink and then he takes it back and he pours it into his own. Personally, I mean, this is just a guess. I'm just trying to find every single detail, but I'm just personally for me, it's a metaphor for power. He's trying to get more. He's trying to get more power. He's trying to get his cup full. I think he has different intentions than what he's saying, and I really think that that was a metaphor for it, in my opinion. Okay, obviously, then we have the funeral with the weird biting out of the fruit and then throwing it. That could be because I mean they're biting out of the fruit. That could be because they've lost a part of their fruit per se, like their fruit. A bite out of it is a piece out of it. They've lost a piece of their community, their people, or it's just bite the fruit. I don't know, but that's how I read that. That's how I understood that. Something that I forgot to mention also is the paper that she pulls out of Marnes's pocket, whatever. We see Doris, which was mentioned last episode, and this piece of paper actually gives us a ton of information. We see a Frankie Brown, we see a Charles Martin, a Ralph Melby, and we actually hear about Ralph Melby later in the episode. But at the top, we can see some dates, top right. I mean, there's a lot on this paper 11/4/40, 3/12/42, 11/17/42, upper L31. Okay, then we move on. We see the talk with Deputy. We move on. We get to meet this Paul, this Paul guy that's been talked about. We finally get to meet him, but they have a weird encounter with the guy Charles Martin that was on the paper, and then they say he had the syndrome, which we have no idea what that means, but I'm assuming that's what they call like drugs. The way his hand was, that's what they call like heroin, something like that. That's what they call the syndrome, maybe, or it's actually some sickness from being underground this long, something like that. I don't know. But then we get to a part where there's coloring and writing being done on the 27th floor. If you look, all there is here is win, run. It's just trying to be all for the It's just helping all of the race to the top. It says run here, win here, some hearts, and then we obviously see the little girl writing let I don't know. We didn't let her finish. We see like "we love you" messages, "good luck," stuff like that. So if you were wondering, but it's not that important. Okay, then we actually see more interaction with Judicial this episode, like actually physically. Um, the faces of Judicial. Obviously they're corrupt somehow. She's blowing off Juliet, and she does not believe her. We learn that they killed Patrick, even though it wasn't for sure him. And then we kind of get a weird conversation with Bernard and Juliet. Bernard is all of a sudden accepting her and agreeing to work together. Now, I've every time there's been a scene in this office, I've been trying to find anything in the background that might be any sign of importance or detail. None that I notice in the background, but if you look to the very right of the screen, he's got something. I don't know what it is. So that makes, I mean, it looks like a note on something. I don't know. Then we see what I think his name was from last episode, Lucas, with Juliet looking outside, and they do not know what stars are, which is not that surprising. And then they think that the star, then they think that the stars are going around them, but they do not know that they are churning. But does this mean that that's actually what it looks like out there? Is that what it actually means? Because that'd be pretty hard to program into a picture, and then why would you even need to program that? Why would you even need to program stars if the people already don't know what they are? He's studying them. I mean, this whole storyline is probably gonna eventually mean something. Um, I'm guessing it's gonna be some way they learn about the outside. They're gonna they're gonna learn something. They're gonna have a breakthrough, and they might use it as leverage somehow. But can't understand it. But it says distance from mid. I think something something 30 days. Um, I think he's saying every 30 days. Um, he can notice stars move. He's keeping that track every month. The moon maybe changes. From the pact, we learn that they, for some reason, can't use mechanized ways of transporting. They can't use pulleys, which is, I mean, it sounds very convenient. Very, it sounds a lot better than what they do. They literally have to take days to walk down and up. They literally take days to walk down and up. This is not a great system here. So I mean, this is the probably the thing that's puzzled me the most, to be honest. I don't really know why they wouldn't. I've just been trying to think why for like 10 minutes. I can't think of a good answer. I'm assuming we're gonna get to know this. Um, but I mean, maybe it has something with maintaining the silo and elevators or mechanized pulleys, something like that does not maintain the silo well. Then we get our second rule about not double magnifying things. So the silo does not want you to look deeper, does not want you to see further into things. So obviously, it's probably relates to relics. Like if they find an old relic like this, and they get something off of it, get some information, something like that. They don't want anything to do with that. Or this is a red herring, and that's exactly what they want us to think when we see the camera. There might be a completely different reason why they don't want us, why they don't want them to look closer. Maybe part of the silo. There's some places where if you look magnified enough, there's something. Or if you double magnify the window or the projection and see outside. Like there could be any number of things, but personally, I think it's to do with the relics, but I also think it's a red herring at the same time. So we'll just have to see. we then see her. We then see Juliet go down to her place, and then she gets the Pez dispenser. I mean, obviously, the Pez dispenser means something to her. It's a metaphor for anything. They kind of frame the last shot where, I mean, I don't know. I have no idea where that little white wire that looks like it's going into its mouth is, but I don't know where that came from. But they seem to frame that on purpose, and then you can see Juliet kind of moves it a little bit towards the camera so you can tell it's actually not going into the mouth. But if she didn't do that, it'd be a little harder to tell. But maybe it's about someone. Maybe it symbolizes like the truth being like stuck inside and being clogged up, forced down, like people being shut up, people being quiet. I don't know. It just it's interesting framing to me. But that's what I think of this episode. This episode did not have that many details to explain. There were definitely enough, but not too many. But thank you guys so much for watching. I'm gonna be posting a Ted Lasso season 3 episode 11 episode details, and that has a ton of details. So look forward to that. That's probably gonna be soon. So thank you so much. I'll see you next week, and goodbye.